So, hi everybody and welcome back. This is C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 105, and in this video we are starting again an exercise because we talked so much about functions. We covered many things, and the problem is we have not trained many things. And this is again an opportunity where we can be creative and we train a function to use in an actual program. And the function task is we are creating an account for a customer with password. This is the first line. And then after we created this account, we are testing this account if we can crack his password. So our second task is we run a brute force attack on it and check then if his password is safe. First of all, what is a brute force attack? A brute force attack is something what hackers use, and they are programming, and let's say they are programming all possible inputs for the password, and then they are just comparing if the input which they typed in are right or wrong. And yes, this sounds very complicated, but it is in general very complicated, but we are here not really simulating anything with hacking. We make it very simple and super simple. We want just check if the password which we provided before is safe, and we will make a system. This brute force attack system is just we are creating all combinations of words, because we are just concentrating in this version on words. So without, let's say, without numbers, without special signs and so on, we skip all this. We just say, just use words in this case to make it very simple. And we compare this all combinations of word with the password. And if we find it, then we know this password is not safe or it was not good. So let me show you what I mean with that a little bit more here in detail. So here I found on the internet already something like brute force attack, at least a simulation. And this is not my code. This is from the web, and I just explain how he does it. So you have not do it this way. You have to find your own way. But here in this example, he created all the alphabetical letters here in an array. In a concha array, we can see it. I hope you understand all this one here. Then he created again all alphabetical letters in an array, but this time all the lower letters, yeah. And then we jump now, and here are the function definitions. What we see here: first function definition, second function definition, and here it is his main. And we learned also that if you put it, the function definitions on top, you don't need a forward declaration. And then he starts. First of all, he called here stdcr. This is a special command. It's an output. It's also an output, but not on the you can read what stdcr is, because this output is, when I started, you can see it's not on the screen actually. Let's say bank, or it was on the string, but read what this stdcr is, right? This is not important. This is similar like std. This has log behind the scene. So let's go on. Then he calls here this crack program. So because it's a hack program, he tries to crack the password, and then you can see the crack is defined here on top, and then he defines there a while loop. And now you see he has defined here a number. And here is one thing which we have not talked, and I will go about this one shortly. First of all, he is using a static word here. This static, we have not talked about the static. It means just this one. In this case, let's skip this. It's not so. You can try to read this word static, but because perhaps you are not even using this code, you should use your own code. But you can try to read this static if you want. And then this is generating just a variable, and this static can be called again. later during recursive calls, because you see here this generate, it will jump to the next definition. Here on top it says generate something, and here is that something what we have not talked. And the thing is, all this kind of stuff on top you should know. He is using an unsigned int with length a string s, which is bad naming, but it's just a string. Then he checks if the string is 0. If it's so, he jumps out of this, and if it's not, then he will loop through all the inputs here, what he get. And here it says 26 times, he will loop 26 times. And then here's the thing what we have not talked about. And the thing is, this one is just a string, this one is just a variable, that's okay, that we know. This one is just an assignment operator, that we know. This one is just array, that we know. And here's a call of the element of the array, that we know. This s is just a string from on top, that we know. But what is this plus here, right? And this plus here we have not talked. It is an overloaded operator, like our assignment operator, right? This one is not equal sign like in our normal language. This one is an assignment operator we learned. This one is assigns the right side to the left side, and this plus is something similar. This is not a plus here like in mathematics. It is again an overloaded operator, and what it does is the string, this s is a string like a word, and it adds another actually another character to it. This plus is a concatenation operator, and you can read this as well. For example, in string concatenation, you should read this, and this is very helpful for this kind of solution. If you are going for this kind of solution with this append, you have not to, but probably an easy solution, because he used less code and realized already a nice solution, I think. Because really less code, if you are not using this one, the code will probably very, very long. That's yeah, but still possible of other ways also, but with very much more code. So that said, read this one here, and let's see. This here you can see this is a recursion function, so that we talked also. It's a little bit danger. You have to check if this generates a Stack Overflow. Hopefully not. And then when we run this one now, you can see all these words are generated here and checked, and it goes here bigger and bigger and bigger. In our case, our example, you should only check the input of two. The password should be only two, let's say two characters. What I mean with that is, for example, user name is this one. Let's say something here, anything, this coder, that's okay. This one will be provided in our example, but the password should be something very short, right? So hey, and the reason for that is, if this password is long, that takes longer and longer and longer the more the password is long. For example, to find this dt is probably very fast, but to find something like this one would take, it will find it probably, but will take really perhaps some if we are unlucky, some days or even weeks or even more. So that's why just use two characters for the password. This is also very helpful for this one. If you want to solve it, if you want to make a very safe password, you can of course go for on, but this is not safe, it just takes longer. And yeah, and of course this code here, what I showed you now here, is just an example from the web. It's not my code. I just took it because he find a very, let's say, very less a code with less lines. You see just 66 lines here for this little. Of course, this code is not finished, so your task is not just to write that here, what you see here, because he is just generating this combinations, right? These are the combination words which he is generating, but our task is that you combine all things which are generated here should be compared to our password code. And then if it's founded, then it should say found password, cracked password, or something like that. And then the password is unsafe. So I hope it is possible. It can be a little bit difficult, but in general, if it's too difficult, just use this solution what I have here on screen. But like I said, it's not my solution. That was from web. I just copied and wanted to demonstrate you what what a brute force is. Brute force, you should read this as well on the web. Brute force means just all combinations of characters are tested against the password, and if it's lucky, it's fine. So it's not, then not. All right, I think I hope it's clear, and the important thing here is really that you try to repeat as much as possible, and very important is use your own ideas. Make mistakes, no problem, make mistakes, but use your own ideas, not like me copying anything like from the net. This is let's say here we learn nothing actually. You learn more when you really use your own idea, but this one gives you perhaps an idea where you can what you can use if you find really nothing, and then you say, okay, I have no idea, I use this one. Okay, that's also okay. But try to use try to use your own ideas, because then you understand in your brain really how all this keyword works, how they are called, why you are using them, and so on. So that said, I stop here and I wish you good luck. Of course, I will present my own solution here as well. Probably I will take this solution here, or perhaps I will try another solution. Who knows? I will see. Depends what I find very fast. But this one looks very short. This is all time good. And yeah, with that said, if you have any questions like all time, write it in the comments. And good luck with your exercise. Bye.